You need people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
Realistically, I just want to say that, at the end of the day, this alabaster on alabaster crime, it just needs to stop. Can't stop, won't stop. White on white crime because they get down. They get down. White on white, they hate us. They stay fresh to mess, smoke the best of the can't stop, won't stop. White on white crime because they get down. They get down. White on white, they love us. They stay fresh to mess, smoke the best of the. Just want to give a special shout out to Grindface TV on Twitter for putting out this video so that people can know and understand what specifically is going on. So this is what the post stated. Awareness. Stranger grabbed a child at King Made underscore nuke and Christian went to go eat after a doctor's appointment at Yamato in Hadesburg. We were just getting seated, and this man grabbed Lillian and pulled her out of her seat on the way out the door. We do not know this man at all. He tried to take advantage of the fact that we were two moms with six kids in a busy restaurant. He thought we wouldn't notice. As soon as I noticed what was happening, I stood up and made eye contact, and he said, "Oh no." He let her go, and he stated I was just playing. He was not playing. This is a warning for all moms. Do not think a predator isn't always looking for an opportunity to take your child. This was in the middle of a busy restaurant. The mother also stated, thankfully, the table across from us were on Snapchat and recorded the whole thing. The police loved that. Charged are being pressed. Also, HPD did an amazing job being prompt and following up on the situation entirely. Thank you.
Let's talk about whites who are child pornographers. Let's talk about white pedophiles. Let's talk about white human trafficking rings. Let's talk about white drug dealers. Let's talk about white corporate crime. Let's talk about white serial killers that are shooting up churches, shooting up movie theaters, shooting up shopping malls, shooting up children's schools. Let's talk about the white deranged people that hide children and women in their basements and chain them up and keep them enslaved and abuse them and beat them, okay, and then impregnate them for years. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the white terrorists, like just what happened January 6th at the Capitol building. Let's talk about all that. Let's talk.
So the question that I have at this moment in time, that this was a busy restaurant, where were the men of that community in that restaurant to step up and to basically hold that man accountable? Where were they to hold him specifically down? Where were they at to make sure that he was not going to be able to leave their restaurant after he just tried to, in broad daylight, during a restaurant, during busy service, tried to snatch a child directly out of the seat as if nobody was going to notice, as if the mother was not paying attention? That's all I'm asking. Because far too many times that I've been on social media, I've always seen the exact same thing stating that, hey, at the end of the day, black men don't protect anything. They don't protect the kids. They're this, they're that, all this other type of stuff. But countless times and countless videos and countless stories that I've gone over and shown you guys, this has been the main perpetrator that I have seen. If not now, then also historically, or both. And yet there is complete silence when it comes to individuals out here that always want to pinpoint and point the finger directly at black men and stating that black men are the most evil of the evilest out here, right? And I find it a little bit concerning, right, that is in a sense the narrative that always gets spun. Now if you wanted to say that men in general are like this, I have no problem. But when the moment of time comes that you want to try to point out a specific group of men that has historically been blamed for every single thing that goes wrong in this country as the main perpetrators who commit these actions every single time, countless times, and that is all black men that do this, we have a very huge problem. Because at the end of the day, what it's going to do is that it's going to, in a sense, demonize one, and it's going to make the other one seem like a hero. Which means that if the other one is a hero and they continuously do these things, they're never going to be held accountable or put directly in the spotlight. Nor is a narrative going to be put directly out there to highlight the problem that is occurring. Again, if people wanted to state that men in general do this, right? That it is a nice size of the men population that just so happen, I'm sorry, the male population that just so happen to do this, fine. No problem. We can go with that, right? We can even go through and deal with stats that will corroborate a lot of the things that people will happen to say about that topic. Like I said before, no problem. But again, the moment in time that the narrative is spun that, hey, black men, this is you, I got a problem. Because when it is that you will have women go out into a lot of these spaces, or more specifically, black women go into a lot of these spaces and they'll bring their kids thinking that this is a safer environment. Because why? The narrative has been stated that, yo, black men are the villains, black men are this, black men are that. So then once their children are directly in these environments, they don't know specifically what it is to look out for, because everybody that's out there does not look like a black man. Therefore, that means their spider senses are going to be down. That means their defenses are going to be down. That means the guard is going to be down. That means that any and everybody can just so happen to brush up against or get close to their children, because they're not perceiving them as a threat and or a danger, or them attempting to see how far that they can go before they make the initial action of trying to walk off with that child, as you were clearly able to see directly in that video. Again, as I've stated on my platform, I try to highlight a lot of the things that people don't want to talk about and or highlight, because 9 times out of 10 videos like this, they're not going to get seen. They're not going to get pushed. They're not going, case in point, YouTube is not going to recommend this, right? People aren't going to share these videos, even though a lot of people just so happen to say that they care about kids. They care about the kids in their family, in their neighborhood, and whatnot, or whatever. And things should not, take place and happen to kids. But like I said before, whenever I see videos like this from other YouTubers, right? I don't see people trying to share these videos, trying to make people aware. I don't see people trying to push this in the algorithm to make sure that other parents are also aware of what it is that are specifically taking place. So my question to a lot of the parents out there is, how much do you actually really care about kids versus you just running your mouth and talking and trying to make yourself seem like a good person? Because when I look around online, I see this continuously happening. And I see the faces of the individuals that are the perpetrators. And again, I don't see people pushing this in the algorithm so that people can get used to this face and identify the face of the individual that is specifically doing this. So, like I said, I don't realistically know what to tell people, because all I'm looking at is mass failure all across the board, all across the board. Because at the end of the day, nobody realistically cares unless there's a black male face attached to the crime or the attempted crime that was taking place.